Have you ever looked into a woman's eyes and wondered, why doesn't she feel the same way? You've done everything right. You've been kind, attentive, genuine, yet somehow her heart stays cold. You try to show her your worth, but the more you try, the more invisible you become. If that sounds familiar, my friend, this video might change the way you understand attraction forever. So before we begin, make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit that like button and watch this video till the end, because what you're about to learn might just transform your love life. Let's begin with a truth most men never realize until it's too late. You cannot make a woman desire you through effort. You make her desire you through energy. Desire doesn't come from words. It doesn't come from chasing. It comes from who you are when you don't need her to like you. Now let's build some context before we go deeper. There was once a man named Adrian. He wasn't the loudest nor the most handsome, but he had one thing most men lacked: stillness. He didn't rush to impress. He didn't flood her phone with messages. He simply was. When he met her, she didn't seem interested. She was polite, distant, even indifferent. But Adrian didn't react to that. He didn't take it personally. He simply kept being himself. Calm, composed, centered. And that's when something shifted. The same woman who once looked past him started noticing him. She began asking him questions. She started lingering longer in conversation, and the same energy that once seemed indifferent slowly turned into curiosity. Then attraction. Why? Because Adrian understood something every Stoic man must learn. When you stop trying to control how someone feels about you, you start to control what energy you give to the world. See, here's what most men do wrong. They chase validation instead of respect. They think attraction is built through constant attention. But women don't fall for men who are everywhere. They fall for men who are rare. When a woman senses that your world revolves around her, she loses the thrill, because desire lives in uncertainty, not in comfort. And the moment she feels she has all of you, she loses curiosity. Adrian's secret wasn't manipulation. It was mastery. Mastery over his emotions, his focus, and his frame. He lived by a simple rule: I don't chase, I attract. What belongs to me will find me when I'm ready for it. That's the essence of Stoic desire. The Stoics, men like Marcus Aurelius and Epictetus, believed that emotional control is the highest form of strength. When a man is not ruled by external things, not by people, not by outcomes, not by attention, he becomes powerful. Because here's the paradox: the man who needs nothing attracts everything. Adrian didn't stop caring, he just stopped needing. He continued improving himself, building his body, working on his goals, and staying grounded. And that self-possession, that quiet energy of purpose, is what drew her in. She didn't desire him because he wanted her. She desired him because he didn't need her to feel complete. That's the unspoken truth of attraction. A woman doesn't crave your attention. She craves your presence. And she only values that presence when it feels earned, not given away. But let's go deeper. Have you ever noticed how some men can walk into a room and instantly draw attention, even without saying a word? That's not luck. That's energy. Stoicism teaches that your energy is your responsibility. It's not what happens to you that defines you, but how you respond. And the most magnetic men are those who stay unmoved by chaos. A man who stays calm under pressure, who doesn't rush to impress, who doesn't let rejection break him, becomes mysterious. Mystery is the seed of desire, and calmness is the soil where that seed grows. When you're calm, you give her space to wonder. When you're not easily impressed, she becomes curious about what does impress you. When you don't react emotionally, she starts to feel emotionally drawn. It's not a trick, it's human psychology. Women are wired to chase emotional stability because it feels safe, and yet they're drawn to the thrill of the unknown. A Stoic man balances both peace and mystery. That balance is what creates desire. Now let's talk about something deeper: the frame. The frame is the invisible energy you bring into every interaction. It's how you make her feel when she's around you. Most men give up their frame the moment they feel attraction. They start bending, changing, pleasing, over-explaining, trying to win her approval. But the moment you start doing that, you lose your center. You go from being the man she notices to the man she tolerates. A Stoic never loses his frame. He doesn't control others, he controls himself. He understands that attraction isn't about possession, it's about projection. You don't make her feel something by forcing it. You make her feel it by embodying it. If you are calm, she feels calm. If you are confident, she feels drawn. If you are uncertain, she feels doubt. You see how it works? Your internal world becomes the environment she experiences. So when you act from neediness, she feels it. But when you act from abundance, she feels that too. At this point, let's pause for a second. Think about that one woman who made you feel small, who made you question yourself, doubt your worth. Remember how that felt? Now imagine walking into that same situation, but this time with Stoic composure. You don't chase, you don't beg, you don't try to convince her. You simply observe, breathe, and say, I don't need to be chosen to know my value. That's when everything changes. Because the energy of detachment doesn't push women away, it pulls them in. It tells her you have options, you have control, and most importantly, you have peace. Peace is magnetic. In a world where everyone is anxious and desperate for attention, a calm man stands out. He becomes a mystery, something she wants to solve, something she wants to understand. Let me tell you a secret most dating coaches won't tell you. A woman doesn't fall in love with how much attention you give her. She falls in love with how she feels about herself when she's around you. If she feels she has to work for your attention, she values it. If she feels she can have it any time, she takes it for granted. That's why Stoic attraction isn't about being cold or arrogant. It's about giving from a place of fullness, not emptiness. When your happiness depends on her response, you become weak. But when your happiness depends on your inner peace, you become untouchable. That's when your energy starts speaking louder than words. The more Adrian focused on his life, his purpose, and his mission, the more radiant he became. He no longer needed her validation, and that made him even more attractive. Because when a man is aligned with something greater than his emotions, he becomes unstoppable. His calmness became a mystery. His silence became power. His purpose became the flame that drew her curiosity. One day she confessed to him, I don't know what it is about you. I just can't stop thinking about you. He smiled and said nothing, because he knew it was never about trying to make her desire him. It was about becoming the kind of man who naturally evokes desire. So what does that mean for you? It means stop chasing approval. Stop over-explaining. Stop trying to impress. Instead, build your peace. Guard your energy and walk in your purpose. That's the essence of Stoic attraction. When you stop needing her to want you, she'll start wondering why she doesn't have you. And that curiosity will turn into desire. Because women don't truly crave attention, they crave certainty. And certainty comes from a man who doesn't let his emotions control his actions. So next time you feel yourself chasing, pause, breathe. Remember, your worth isn't measured by her interest. It's revealed by your composure. Be the calm in the storm. Be the man who moves slowly, speaks less, and acts with intention. Because the most attractive energy in the world is peace wrapped in mystery. When you live by this Stoic truth, that your emotions, your energy, and your focus belong only to you, you become untouchable. You stop seeking validation from the outside and start radiating value from within. And that's when desire naturally flows toward you, effortlessly. Because the moment you stop trying to control her is the moment you start to control yourself. And when you control yourself, you control the dynamic. So if you've ever been ignored, rejected, or taken for granted, don't see it as loss. See it as your training ground. Because every time you master your reaction, every time you choose peace over panic, every time you remain silent when ego wants to speak, you rise. And a man who rises in silence becomes the kind of man no woman can forget. With that said, thanks for watching, and until next time.